Welcome, class. Today, we will be diving into the fascinating world of endocrinology, specifically focusing on the intricacies of the stress response and its impact on hormonal regulation. The stress response is a complex interplay between various endocrine and neural systems, and understanding its mechanisms is crucial in managing and preventing the development of endocrine disorders related to chronic stress. So, without further ado, let us begin our exploration of the stress response. The stress response is primarily orchestrated by the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal (HPA) axis. This axis involves the interaction of three key structures: the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland, and the adrenal glands. When the body perceives a stressor, the hypothalamus releases corticotropin-releasing hormone, CRH, which signals the pituitary gland to secrete adrenocorticotropic hormone, ACTH. ACTH, in turn, stimulates the adrenal glands to produce cortisol, the primary glucocorticoid involved in the stress response. This complex cascade of events ensures the body's readiness to respond to stressors. Cortisol, often referred to as the stress hormone, plays a vital role in the stress response. It is released by the adrenal glands in response to ACTH stimulation. Cortisol exerts a broad range of effects on various tissues and organs throughout the body. It helps regulate glucose metabolism, suppresses the immune system, and affects memory and cognition. Cortisol also has anti-inflammatory properties, making it a crucial player in the body's response to stress and overall homeostasis. The adrenal glands, situated on top of each kidney, are responsible for the production and release of various hormones, including cortisol. These small, triangular-shaped glands consist of two distinct regions, the outer cortex and the inner medulla. The cortex produces cortisol, aldosterone, and other steroid hormones, while the medulla secretes epinephrine and norepinephrine. Together, these hormones aid in the body's ability to respond and adapt to stressors. The stress response not only involves endocrine pathways but also heavily relies on the sympathetic nervous system, SNS. The SNS acts as the body's fight or flight response system, activating various physiological processes to prepare the body for action. The SNS stimulates the adrenal medulla to release epinephrine and norepinephrine, which enhance heart rate, increase blood pressure, and promote vasoconstriction. These effects collectively prioritize and enhance the body's ability to respond effectively to stressors. Glucocorticoids, such as cortisol, are a class of steroid hormones that play a pivotal role in regulating the metabolic response to stress. They promote the breakdown of glycogen into glucose, increase gluconeogenesis, and inhibit glucose uptake in peripheral tissues. Glucocorticoid receptors are expressed in almost every cell in the body, allowing cortisol to exert widespread effects on various physiological processes. Epinephrine and norepinephrine, also referred to as catecholamines, are vital hormones released from the adrenal medulla in response to stress. Functioning as neurotransmitters, these hormones play a crucial role in activating the sympathetic nervous system. Their effects are diverse, including the enhancement of cardiovascular functions, heightened mental alertness, and facilitation of the mobilization of energy reserves. These physiological responses are orchestrated to prime the body for immediate action in the face of stress-inducing circumstances. The stress response follows a highly regulated feedback mechanism to maintain hormonal homeostasis. Elevated levels of cortisol exert negative feedback at both the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland, inhibiting the release of CRH and ACTH, respectively. This negative feedback loop helps ensure that cortisol levels remain within the normal range and prevent excessive activation of the stress response system. Melatonin, a hormone predominantly synthesized in the pineal gland, assumes a critical role in modulating the sleep-wake cycle. Amid episodes of heightened stress, the production of melatonin may undergo changes, giving rise to disruptions in sleep patterns. Such disturbances in the circadian rhythm can further intensify the body's reaction to stressors, thereby augmenting the susceptibility to endocrine disorders. It is worth noting that the intricate interplay between melatonin, stress, and the sleep-wake cycle underscores the significance of maintaining a balanced hormonal equilibrium for optimal physiological functioning. When our body detects a stressful situation, various brain areas, including the hypothalamus, amygdala, and prefrontal cortex, come into action. These areas are responsible for sensing and deciphering stress signals, deciding on the necessary hormonal reaction, and regulating emotional and cognitive responses to stressors. So, the stress response is not solely influenced by hormones but also intricately controlled by the central nervous system. Understanding the complex interplay between endocrine factors and the brain is crucial in comprehending the mechanisms behind our body's adaptive response to stress. Stressors encompass various stimuli, including physical, psychological, and environmental factors, which can prompt a diverse array of hormonal reactions. When exposed to acute stressors, the body promptly releases a surge of stress hormones, thereby priming itself for an instantaneous response. Conversely, chronic stressors can induce maladaptive alterations in the stress response system, disrupt hormonal equilibrium, and potentially contribute to the onset of endocrine disorders. It is imperative to recognize the intricate connection between stress and hormone regulation to comprehensively understand the impact of stress on the body. Allostatic load refers to the cumulative physiological burden placed on the body due to chronic stress exposure. Prolonged activation of stress response systems can lead to wear and tear in various physiological systems, increasing the risk of developing chronic diseases, including endocrine disorders. Factors such as genetic predisposition, social support, and coping mechanisms influence an individual's susceptibility to allostatic load. Chronic stress has been implicated in the development and exacerbation of various endocrine disorders. Conditions such as adrenal insufficiency, Cushing's syndrome, thyroid disorders, and reproductive hormone imbalances can arise due to prolonged exposure to stress and dysregulation of the stress response system. Understanding the intricate connection between chronic stress and endocrine disorders is crucial for effective management and prevention. In conclusion, the stress response is a complex interplay between endocrine and neural systems, involving multiple hormones and feedback mechanisms. Chronic stress can have a detrimental impact on endocrine function, contributing to the development of various disorders. As future medical professionals, it is vital to appreciate the intricate details of the stress response and be equipped with the knowledge necessary to manage and mitigate the consequences of chronic stress on hormonal regulation.